Hi, my name's Carl Stanley and thank you for coming along this far into the course. So now we're at the analysis section. This is where the rubber hits the road. This is where we get our architectural insights. And remember what our mission statement was? Be enterprise architects, give enterprise architecture insights to aspiring professionals. This is where all the juice is. So one thing I want to take you through before, which I forgot to jump on in the last section, was when we did all that work with the drawing, got things out into Visio, one thing you have to remember, hit the commit button and then bang, committing data to the repository, and away you go. It commits. Thank you. Object already exists. Yes. Reuse. Commit. Commit. Away you go. Okay. Don't forget to commit your work back to the repository. Save it. Bang. Okay. Now we're back to the analysis section. So we're going to look at how do you find a hierarchy view and a matrix view. Now, a matrix view, you know what a matrix is. So a list of things, which is the things we did for the import, matrices of things, diagrams of things, and the hierarchies of things. So matrix of things, 2-axis, like that, application, V technology, bang. If there's a relationship, out pops a value, okay? That is a matrix of things. So, and a hierarchy is to also surf those relationships, but see them. Now in iServer, simple, it's called a view. All right. And the other thing I will show you is the little impact analysis PDF. So you can go through that. So here's our standard folder with our sandpit, with our examples in it. Okay, start. Remember how we started to explore. Then we go into new views, new folders. I've created a few of these views already. You see how the icons are a little bit different. Okay, I'll go back to those. Now, you basically just have to hit new view. And it brings up a new tab, basically, and it's called this new view, right? So I've created two of them because I want to show you the hierarchy view and the matrix view. So this is the hierarchy view. Okay, how do you do a hierarchy view? Views, new, hierarchy. That's simple. Views, new, matrix. That's simple. And then you get a new tab. Then you get to do things in this tab. So in the hierarchy view, you're presented with a filter, right? So you pick in the first column, you pick an object type, right? Remember our meta tags, application component equals, right? Application component. So then you have a list of things that are all of your applications in that repository. Not a problem. Then you go into, so once I'm in the view, see this little thing here says add level. You just add a level, which then allows you to then pick another object type that you want. And in this case, we went for deliverable. So application to deliverable. Okay, so as you click on these, you'll see that the API exchange has nothing associated to it from a deliverable perspective. If you go to Automizer, oh, all of a sudden, is realized by, and those are the relationships, right? So you've got it in that view and in that view. Again, you can change the layout, have a look at it that way. Not a problem. So that's a hierarchy of things, right? Now, can we... Yes, we can export those items to Excel, and all of a sudden you see, hey presto. So it's just, as you edit the database, you'll start to see all of these things pop out, and you put these into your documentation. And if it's part of a workflow, which iServer also has, then people can approve your changes, and it can go to a governance board. So, you know, if you go to TOGAF, there's a whole governance side, plan, build, run. You've got an architecture review board, a design authority, project, a PMO of some sort with a project steering committees, and then all the way out into a CAB, a change advisory board, BAU handover, first, second, third level support, plan, build, run, all of that. This information, if you have it modeled like that, you can take it with you across all those areas, and you're working from a common data model. Winning. And your impact analysis and your forward plans. What if you could actually grab the stuff out of the CMDB, put it into your current state at a point in time, and then do a future state based on it? And then as things change, you update your baseline. That's the whole idea of enterprise architecture. Okay, so you get the idea of a hierarchy view. Okay, now let's do this. Views, new view, matrix view. And you get to pick, see how they've got these little icons here? You've got top row, columns and rows, columns and rows. You get to pick what you want to call in your columns. And at this point, we got application component, right? And we've got technology services, right? So all I did was called out don't forget, you see this little button here? As soon as you start picking these columns and rows, you have to run or execute the matrix, and then it populates and fills all those things. So you can see all of a sudden, you can see quite clearly the enterprise services bus is across all sorts of stuff, right? It has many, composed of many different subservices, and many projects are touching it, okay? That sort of impact analysis, and you can stick that in your professional documentation, you're winning. Okay, so you'll see this serves that. Now, in theory, if you had this on your laptop, for instance, and you're going in and out of these enterprise architecture meetings and things, wouldn't it be great if you could just call up a matrix like this and start clicking on things and say, well, that's related to that? There you go. And the relationships adhere to the Archimate spec, so you don't have to stress about it all. This, my friends, is when you start getting efficient. So you get speed and accuracy happening. And once that happens, you're ahead of the game. Now, let me just give you one illustration. In the requirement for this stuff, you have to work at efficiencies. Just say, well, I'll drop a name here. I used to work for IBM, 10 projects deep. And if you were in the room having the discussion at a project meeting, you were behind the 8 ball. Decisions were already being made outside of the project, and unless you as the architect were out the front, leaving breadcrumbs tactically, you were gone, right? And the only way to keep track of all those things in a 40-hour period across 10 different projects, where you got four hours of attention maxed per project, is to have this stuff modeled in a level of efficiency. So that is I guess a motivational point. This level of efficiency, once you're at this place and you're at the knowledge place and you're working at the meta layer, you'll notice even the tools that I use, they're all sort of meta tools, right? So iServer, Archi, the mind maps. Has anyone used flying logic for the theory of constraints and cause and effect thinking for transition planning? That's a whole nother subject, which is really cool if you like this stuff. So I'm a bit passionate about this stuff. Okay, so you've seen now how to do some analysis and pull out some matrices of things. And yes, you can do these things on the fly and update them and export them to matrices of things as a list, as a matrix, right? You'll notice that the tools that we go through are all going to be very similar now from now on. All right. I like the next one I'm going to do, which is biz design as well. That's really got some cool stuff in it. So I'm hoping you're enjoying this. We'll kick out to a conclusion, and thanks for coming along. Okay.